Hey everybody, I'm going to walk you guys through some percent problems that involve tax and tip. And, for some of the problems, you're going to use the basic percent equation, which is just, percent times the base equals the part. And then for others, you might use just like percent increase or decrease, which involves, taking the base, multiplying that with parentheses, one, and it's either plus or minus depending on if it's an increase or a decrease, whatever the percent is as a decimal, and that will equal the part. And it's kind of up to you. You guys, well, it's not up to you. I mean, you have to use one or the other. One of them will be right, one of them will not be. But you're going to have to kind of decide when you do these problems which equation probably fits the best when you are solving them. So in this first example, let's look at this one. We've got Hagrid is going to buy Bluetooth headphones that are priced $310, and that's without tax. The electronics store charges 8.5 or 8.5% sales tax. What is the total price, including tax, that Hagrid pays for the headphones? Now this sounds like a percent of increase type problem. Actually, either equation would work, but if I use the percent increase equation, which is base times 1 plus the percent equals the part, we should be able to get it. So this particular problem, 310, is the before. That's the before price. Nothing has been added or subtracted to it. So I'm going to put 310 in front. 1.0 is kind of what it is. The percent is 8.5%, and then just kind of keep in mind you have to move the decimal over two places, 1, 2. So you have to put a 0 there. So that becomes 0.085. And then you're going to make that equal to the part. The part is what we don't know. That's the unknown in this problem. All right, and nothing too complicated about this problem. We just have to do parentheses first. And then just use your calculator for this. And you're going to do 310 times 1 and 85 thousandths. And you get $336.35. And that's the price with tax. Tax has been added on and everything. And that makes sense. You guys, I think sometimes when you guys do problems, I talked about this way back when we were in class, but make sure you guys are checking your answers to see if it makes sense. Let's say you had the decimal in the wrong spot or something and you got 3,363.5, and you said, oh yeah, that's what my calculator says. It's got to be the answer. But common sense should tell you, well, that doesn't make sense because why would headphones cost, more than $3,000 unless they're made out of solid gold or something? But I would avoid that. So always, be thinking about your answer. And this answer seems to make reasonable sense, logical sense there, that there would be $336. Okay, next example here. It says, when going out to a restaurant, the wait staff expects to be given at least 20% tip for the services they provide, like bringing your drinks and your food and cleaning up after you and bringing you extra napkins and all that stuff. That's called gratuity, right? So you should always do that. So the question is, how much should your tip be? How much should you tip if your bill came out to be $78.50? So we're just looking for what the tip should be. So for this particular question right here, I'm just going to do the percent equation. So we're going to do percent times the base, and that will equal the part. So the percent in this problem is 20%. And then 20% as a decimal is 0.2. If you want to put the 0 there, go ahead. You don't have to. So I'm going to write 0.2, and then we're going to multiply that by the base, and the base in this problem is unknown because we're not sure. Okay, so for this particular problem, the base is $78.50, and the part this time is just going to be the tip. We want to know what the tip is. All right, so just use your calculator and just do 0.2 times 78.50. And my calculator says 15.5. Or not 15.5, it says 15.7, which means $15.70. And that's just your tip. And that's all the question was asking. The question was asking, how much should the tip be? I would have used the other equation. Perhaps I would have used this one if it said, well, what's the tip plus the bill? You know, what's everything included? But this was just asking for the tip. So I was looking for the part only. So $15.70. So make sure, you know, like I said, I think I said this in class, but you're going out to a restaurant and you have so much money with you, make sure you're always figuring, well, we have to tip as well. So you're not just buying what you need for food, but you're also buying the service as well. Okay, for number 3, we have, it says, when having dinner, you notice your parents left a tip of $23.50. They wouldn't tell you what dinner cost, but you know they left a 25% tip. All right, that's pretty generous. So what was the cost of dinner? So they wouldn't tell you the price. So this particular problem right here, again, I would use just a simple percent equation. Percent times base equals part. The percent is 25%. Changing that to a decimal, you get 25 hundredths or 0.25. So you're going to do 0.25. Now this time around, let's look at what $23.50 is. What does that seem like? Well, that's obviously the tip, but that's not the base. The base, we don't know what it is. So I'm just going to leave that as B. And the tip is the part, $23.50. So I have to solve this using inverse operations, which, as you know, when you guys solve these kind of problems, you're going to always divide by the number that's attached to the variable. So we're going to divide both sides by 25 hundredths. And that goes away, so now just do 2350. 2350 divided by 0.25. $4 is the cost. Now that's without tip. That's just what the dinner cost. Maybe that's with tax too, but that doesn't really matter for this problem. But we just had to figure out what the cost was. What was the original price of the dinner? And it was $94. Okay, on number 4, I noticed on the Khan Academy, a lot of you guys missed this problem or didn't quite answer it fully. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on kind of like what you should do when you kind of encounter these kind of problems. But this one says Hector is buying a computer at a price of $C. We're not sure what the price is, and really it doesn't even matter what the price of the computer is. For all we know, it could be $10, it could be $1,000, it doesn't matter. But we do know that Hector is going to pay 10% tax. All right, so what you have here is a question that says choose all the expressions that could, that might represent how much Hector pays for the computer. Now my advice on this one is to make up a number. Make up a number for the price of the computer. And for an expression that could represent how much Hector pays for the computer, I would say that that is going to be with the tax included as well. Just use the formula, which is the percent increase. So plus the percent, and that will equal the part. So in this particular problem, we're not sure what the base is, and like I said, it doesn't matter what the base is. Let's say the base was $500. Let's say the computer costs $500, and so we're just going to put that made up number in there. Now the percent is 10%, so I'm going to do 0.1. And then let's just solve it. Let's figure out what it is. Even though it's not really asking us to solve it, it's asking us for expressions, but you'll see what I mean in just a second. We've got 1.10 equals P, and then you're going to do 500 times 1.1, which is 550. Here's what I would suggest doing. So we got $550 for the price with tax included. Now let's go to all these examples up here. Let's go to all these examples and put in the made up cost that we got. You know, the made up cost that we got that I made up, and you guys could, like I said, you can make up any price you want. But the price that I made up was that the computer cost $500. Like I said, you could have put in $1,000. You could have put in $5. It doesn't really matter what it is, but I'm going to put that in. And if, when I solve it, let's say I put it in here, and when I solve it, let's say I put in 500 for C, and I get 550, let's say my result is 550, then that's got to be an equivalent expression, because only an equivalent expression could give me the same outcome, could give me the same answer. So I'm going to try that first one right there. I'm going to kind of erase all this stuff so that I have some room to work. And like I said, I'm going to put 500 in there. So I got 500 plus 1/10 times 500. All right, now 500 plus 1/10 is 500 and 1/10. It's just a mixed number. And then you're going to multiply that by 500. Now 500 and 1/10 is, if I write it, if I want to put that in my calculator, I'm going to write that just as 500.1 times 500. And then if you do the work there, 500.1 times 500 is going to be a perfectly reasonable answer. I got 250,050. So according to that particular expression, in using $500, I got the price of the computer is $250,000, $250,000. That's not going to do it. That's not an answer. That's not an equivalent expression, because we got something that was way too big. Like I said, with the tax, we should have ended up with, what was it, 550? Is that what it was? So, that's not reasonable. That's not going to work. So let's try 500 in the next one. Oops, zooming in on here that we got. All right. So I'm going to put in 500 wherever I see the letter C, like that. All right, and don't be afraid to use your calculator, but 500 times 0.10 times 500 is going to be 50. And then this 500 right here just drops down. And then add that up, and you get 550. And does that seem reasonable? It totally does. That has got to be okay. This works. Okay, so that is equivalent. That's equivalent to what we did at first. All right, but let's not stop there, because it says expressions plural. So let's make sure we cover all our bases here and see what we get. All right, the next one, we've got 11 tenths times c. And then c, like I said at the beginning of the problem, 11 tenths times c is going to be, and you can use your calculators for this, but if you do 11 times c, you're going to get, holy cow, you're going to get $550 again. So I know that looks totally different. I mean, that looks like a completely different problem, but that one is also equivalent. That one works. Okay, and then let's check this last one here. And we're going to put in 500 where we see the C. And you probably see where this is heading. In 500 plus 1/10, what does that equal to? Well, that's a mixed number, 500 and 1/10, which is really, if you write that as a decimal, 500.1. All right, $500.10. That does not seem right. Okay, so that answer was not equivalent. So these two were equivalent. Those worked. This one did not. This last one did not. So that is how that goes. And like I see, like I was talking about here, like when you guys encounter those problems, when you're wondering whether it's equivalent or not, just solve them. Solve all the possible solutions and see how they turn out. If they turn out to be answers that you got it to begin with, then they have to be equivalent. If they come out to be something different, like this one, $500.10, which is not enough tax at all. The government's going to come looking for you if you're not paying your taxes at your business. So they'll be like, all right, you got to fix that register because it's not calculating the taxes right. And this one right here, the government's not going to come calling. The people are not going to come to your store if you're charging them $250,000 for a computer. Unless it's a really nice computer. I guess if it's super fast and it does things that no other computer can do, I guess maybe it's worth it, but highly doubt it. So that does it for this assignment. And I'll have an assignment that matches this on your Google Classroom, which will align up with the Khan Academy. So everyone have a great night. And you know what? This is going to be the last lesson before spring break. So I know we've been on break already for 2 weeks, but there's not going to be a lesson until after spring break. So everyone have a good one. I hope everyone's staying safe and staying out of public places and everyone's family is healthy and everything. So everyone take care. Good night.